Roseanne, thank you very much for those remarks. Now we're going to hear from Tami Schaible. She is the Vice President of a small, family-owned construction company.
Good morning, and I would like to thank all of the representatives and senators that are here today to support this resolution. When I first learned about EFCA, I thought, Employee Free Choice Act, what choice are they going to give me? Because when I graduated from high school, I got to choose what I wanted to do. If I wanted to go to college, if I wanted to get a job, if I wanted to join the union. So I started looking into this by calling my senators and asking questions. And what I want to say here today is there's a couple of things that I've been told, looked in the eye and told, and also told over the phone and sworn that these things were true. And research and my understanding has said they're not, that they are half-truths or just flat-out deceitful. One of them is that the Employee Free Choice Act does not take away the secret ballot vote, but that it gives the employee the choice to choose between card check or the secret ballot vote. So I've asked, well, when do they get to choose? Can I see the form? What are they going to be told? And I was transferred from this senator's office, and this is when calling Washington, different people who signed this bill and supported the legislation. I would simply be placed on hold and left on hold, or transferred to some other committee. And I would ask the question, and no one could answer it. All they would come back and say to me was, it did not take away the right, it gave it to the employee. But you heard the verbiage. The verbiage specifically directs the National Labor Relations Act not to hold the secret ballot election. So I read it, and I know that that's what it does. It takes away our secret ballot election. The argument for why we need card check is because employers interfere with elections. I even heard one reason was that not everybody shows up to vote. Not everybody shows up to vote when we vote for the president, when we vote for these guys here, but we don't throw the election away because not everybody showed up to vote. I would like to share something personally with you that we experienced in my company. Another argument I heard in a debate is that this isn't about small business. We're after the big guys, the big retailers, the Home Depot, the Walmart. This isn't going to affect you. But 4 years ago, my employees were given tickets, and they were given tickets to attend a beef and beer. And at the beef and beer, food, drink, and tools were going to be given away for free. Well, fortunately for me, my employees forgot about it and didn't go. But a competitor of mine, his employees did attend. And when they arrived, in order to enter the free beef and beer, they had to sign a piece of paper that they were told was going to allow the union to send them literature. The problem was with that employer whose employees attended that found himself holding an election several weeks later. The election was lost because the employees had not signed for union representation, but only to allow them to send them literature in the mail. So the other argument I've heard is that employers interfere with the elections and they're losing the elections. Well, then I looked into what are the statistics on that, and the National Labor Relations Board statistics say they win from 60 to 68% of the elections. Well, I'm a businesswoman, and if I was closing 68% of my deals every day, I'd be pretty happy. I would think I had a good closing rate. So this is not about helping us, the individual, organize. This is about silencing those of us who don't want union representation. Because if they're taking the time to go out and get petitions and get them signed, and they're only losing 30% of that, well, maybe they need to go back and look at what those people were told, what those people were promised, why they lost the election. It's like when I lose a deal, I go back to the table and find out why I lost the deal, what I didn't deliver to my customer. And I think that my employees absolutely, without a doubt, deserve the right to vote whether or not they want union representation. My other favorite myth that was told was that employers can refuse to recognize the union once they've been voted in. I never heard that, so I went to a lawyer and I asked them that question. I said, I was at a debate, and the person that was a proponent of this legislation, he was a union president, he said that the employers don't have to recognize the union, and this EFCA will make them have to do that. It'll certify that union. Well, that isn't true. The truth is, under the current law, when they show up with the petition, they only need 30%. If they have 80%, they can say when they approach the employer can choose to recognize the union. If 100 of his employees have signed the petition, he can choose to recognize the union. That's choice, the employer's choice. You don't get to not recognize the union. If they choose not to recognize or accept the petition, then they go to a secret ballot election. And then when that election is held, that employer does not have the choice to not recognize the union. In fact, if he doesn't want to be unionized, he has one choice, and that's to shut his business down and cease his operations. Well, that's as fair as it can get. What is it that we're trying to change? A system that for 70 years has worked. For 70 years, it's protected our privacy and our right to choose whether we want to be represented by a union or not. This isn't about the employee. There's nothing in this legislation that grants any power to the individual. I've read it. It grants a whole lot of power to more federal government organizations, the NLRB, the Federal Conciliation and Mediation Service, which I don't know what they do, but they're going to be busy if this gets passed. It grants power to them without process. There's no processes that says an investigation will be held, but how are they going to verify signatures? My husband signed a petition one day. He was outside working in the garage. A person knocked on the door and said to him, "Hey, you want to sign this? It's going to create jobs. It's going to increase wages. It's going to be great for the country." And he signed it. I came home and he told me, "You're going to be so proud of me. I participated in politics today." And he told me what he signed, only I knew what it was. And when I got angry with him, he said, "Don't worry, honey. I signed a fake name." I promise you that if the Employee Free Choice Act is passed, we will change the way business is conducted in this country forever. And there will be a whole lot of us who will be silenced. Please tell everyone that you know, educate them on this, because I'm finding that my friends have no idea that there's even rules to organizing. Thank you very much for your time. I'm very privileged.